It was just another ordinary Tuesday evening in our quiet suburban neighborhood. A perfectly calm and uneventful night like any other I've experienced, with the familiar routine of daily life unfolding around me, when unexpectedly, everything in my world changed forever in an instant. I was out for my regular evening walk with my loyal dog, breathing in the refreshing cool air that carried the faint scent of freshly cut grass, feeling completely relaxed when suddenly I noticed something truly peculiar and unexplained high up in the vast night sky above. At first glance, I dismissed it casually as just a commercial plane passing overhead, or perhaps a distant helicopter on its routine patrol, but quickly realized it was moving far too slowly across the horizon and completely silently, without the usual roar of engines or flashing navigation lights. Then, as my eyes adjusted to the dimming twilight, it became unmistakably clear that this was no ordinary aircraft anyone would recognize. It was a perfect, equilateral triangle shape, hovering dark and ominous against the fading light of the western sky, silent and utterly otherworldly. Positioned precisely along each of the three sharp points of this massive triangle were three distinct pulsating lights that captured my full attention. One vibrant electric blue that seemed to pulse with energy, one crisp pure white glowing steadily, and one subtle silver gray shimmering mysteriously in the night. This enormous craft hovered there in the open sky, absolutely motionless and unwavering for what felt like an endless eternity to me, completely defying every known law of physics and aerodynamics that I've ever learned or heard about in my life. My heart began to pound heavily in my chest with a mix of fear and excitement, as I realized I wasn't merely observing something unusual or rare. No, I was witnessing something truly impossible that challenged everything I thought I knew about the world. Soon, other people in the neighborhood started to notice the anomaly as well, with curious neighbors stepping out from their front doors and garages, all drawn irresistibly by the profound, strange silence and the captivating, rhythmic pulsating lights dominating the sky. A collective gasp escaped from everyone gathered there as the massive object suddenly and smoothly tilted on its axis, revealing for the first time its perfectly smooth and highly reflective metallic underside that gleamed faintly in the ambient night light. There was absolutely no sound whatsoever, no visible exhaust trails or heat signatures, just this pure, silent, and graceful movement that was unlike anything I had ever personally seen, heard described, or even imagined possible in my wildest dreams. Then, in an astonishing display of power, it accelerated with an impossible burst of speed straight across the entire visible sky, covering what must have been miles and miles in distance in a mere fraction of a second, leaving me breathless. Just as abruptly as it had surged forward, it came to a complete and perfect stop, now hovering motionless once again in an entirely different position across the sky, as if it were deliberately playing some kind of incomprehensible game with our limited human perception of reality and time. The three lights on its vertices suddenly intensified dramatically, glowing much brighter than before, with the electric blue one dominating and casting an eerie, otherworldly hue that spread across the scattered clouds, illuminating them faintly from above. It then began performing a series of maneuvers that no human-made aircraft or drone could ever hope to achieve, executing razor-sharp turns, sudden direction changes, and altitude shifts while effortlessly defying gravity, inertia, and every principle of conventional flight. We all stood there frozen in place, a small crowd of completely bewildered eyewitnesses, our smartphones held high and pointed desperately at the sky, yet somehow unable to capture or record its true magnificent essence on our devices. The surrounding air grew noticeably colder around us, and a profound, unnatural stillness descended over the entire neighborhood, as if the very world itself was holding its breath in anticipation of whatever might happen next in this surreal moment. Then, without any warning sound, flash, or visible trace left behind, it simply vanished right before our eyes. One moment the massive triangle and its lights were prominently there in the sky, and in the next instant, it was completely gone. The once occupied sky now stretched empty above us, vast and star-filled. But the powerful memory of that extraordinary sighting we had all just shared remained indelibly burned into our minds, impossible to erase or forget. We turned to look at each other in stunned silence, completely speechless and struggling to find words, each of us trying desperately to process and comprehend the utterly impossible event that we had collectively just witnessed together. Questions raced through everyone's minds immediately. Was this some kind of top secret military experimental project finally revealed? Perhaps just a clever optical illusion tricked by the lights and shadows, or something truly far beyond our current scientific understanding and imagination. The intense debate ignited right there on the spot among us, fueled by a mix of outright disbelief from skeptics and the undeniable, vivid evidence fresh from our own eyes that refused to let us doubt what we had seen. Some among the group tried hard to rationalize the sighting, searching frantically for any possible logical or conventional explanation that could account for such an extraordinary and baffling occurrence in the night sky. But how on earth do you even begin to explain away the completely silent operation, the instantaneous acceleration and stops, and those pulsating lights that clearly defied all known human technology and engineering capabilities? For me personally, after reflecting deeply on every detail, there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever in my mind. What we collectively saw that unforgettable night was undeniably real, an authentic and direct encounter with something profoundly unknown and extraordinary. That single event completely transformed my entire perspective on reality and the universe, forever opening my once skeptical mind to incredible possibilities that I had previously dismissed outright as mere science fiction or fantasy. Even now, the vivid memory of those mesmerizing pulsating lights, one electric blue, one white, one silver gray, and that massive, silent triangular craft remains crystal clear in my thoughts, serving as a powerful, constant reminder of the endless mysteries that undoubtedly lie far beyond our familiar world.